December 13th, 1943, one aircraft in the sky. December 13th, 1943, 9:27 a.m. Over Assam, northeast India. Morning haze hangs low over the Brahmaputra Valley, thin and deceptive, turning the rising sun into a pale white disk. At 18,000 feet, the air is cold and smooth. The only sound is the steady mechanical roar of an Allison V-1710 engine pulling a single Curtiss P-40 Warhawk through a wide climbing turn. Second Lieutenant Philip Adair is alone. His aircraft, serial number 44, is nicknamed Lulu Bell, the name painted in worn white letters beneath the cockpit. The paint around the gun ports is blackened from past missions. The canopy rattles faintly with vibration. Adair's gloved left hand rests lightly on the throttle. His right grips the control stick, relaxed but ready. He has been airborne for 14 minutes, flying a routine combat air patrol over Dinjan airfield. Then shapes begin to form in the distance. 3 miles east, through the haze, dark dots multiply rapidly. Not birds, not weather, aircraft, many of them. The formation resolves as it closes, and Adair's stomach tightens. Bombers, fighters, a lot of them. He tilts the nose slightly down, squints, and counts. 24 twin-engine Mitsubishi Ki-21 Sally bombers, flying in disciplined blocks. Above and below them, layered like a shield, are approximately 40 Nakajima Ki-43 Oscars. The Japanese formation is moving west at 240 miles per hour, directly toward Dinjan. 64 enemy aircraft. Adair checks his clock. He checks his fuel. Full internal tanks. 180 gallons. About 90 minutes at combat power. He checks his guns. 6.50 caliber Brownings. Roughly 235 rounds per gun. Enough ammunition for 12 seconds of sustained fire. 12 seconds. Below him, Dinjan airfield sits exposed. 14 C-47 transports are parked on the hardstand, loaded with aviation fuel, ammunition, and medical supplies bound for China. A field hospital nearby is treating 63 wounded soldiers. Fuel dumps line the edge of the strip, enough to keep the Hump airlift flying for 11 days. If the bombers reach the target unopposed, the airfield will be wrecked. The transports will burn. The wounded will die in their beds. Adair radios for help. Static answers him back. The nearest friendly fighters are at Jorhat, 38 minutes away. Japanese raids over the past 8 weeks have been devastating. 47 transport aircraft destroyed on the ground. 112 Allied personnel killed. Intelligence reports show that raids of this size, against undefended airfields, achieve 90% accuracy. Standard doctrine is clear. When outnumbered more than 5-1, shadow the enemy. Maintain contact. Do not engage. Wait for reinforcements. Adair is outnumbered 64-1. He has seconds to decide. He could stay high, radio continuously, track the formation, and watch the bombs fall while help races from Jorhat. Or he can attack alone, knowing that once he commits, there is no escape, no backup, no margin for error. He looks again at the bombers. Tight formations. Calm. Confident. They expect opposition over the target, not out here, 20 miles short of it. Adair pushes the throttle forward. The manifold pressure climbs. 50 inches. 52. 54. The Allison responds instantly, its note rising to a harsh, urgent scream. The P-40 surges ahead, accelerating through 300 miles per hour. The airframe begins to hum. The control forces stiffen. He climbs to position, 4,000 feet above the bombers, sliding south to place the sun directly behind him. The glare will blind them. Surprise is his only real weapon. The Oscars do not see him. Their attention is forward, eyes scanning for fighters rising from Dinjan. None of them expect a lone American fighter already above them, already moving into position. Adair breathes slowly, deliberately. He does not think about odds. He thinks in sequences. Lead bombers first. Break the formation. Force them to scatter. Ruin the bombing run. If he can do that, even once, even briefly, it might be enough. He rolls inverted. The earth flips into the sky. The The bomber formation fills his windscreen. He pulls the nose down and begins his dive from the bomber's 7 o'clock high position. Airspeed builds rapidly. 340, 350, 360 miles per hour. The Allison is at full power now. The sound is deafening. 800 yards. The bomber gunners still have not reacted. At that moment, Philip Adair is no longer following doctrine. He is no longer waiting for help. He is attacking 64 enemy aircraft alone, because if he does not, everything below him will burn. At 800 yards, he squeezes the trigger. The first strike. Tracer fire erupts from the nose of Lulu Bell. 6.50 caliber Brownings hammer in unison, their recoil shuddering through the P-40's airframe. Bright red tracers arc forward, converging on the lead Mitsubishi Ki-21 Sally bomber. At this closing speed, there is no time to correct, no room for hesitation. The rounds walk up the bomber's left wing. Fabric skin tears apart like paper. Aluminum spars spark and flash. Then the port engine ignites in a sudden orange bloom. Flames roll backward along the nacelle as thick black smoke pours out behind it. The bomber lurches, losing speed, falling out of formation. The effect is immediate. The tight V of 6 bombers fractures. Wingmen break left and right to avoid collision. Bombardiers abandon their aim points. Pilots shove throttles forward, hauling their aircraft out of alignment. The bombing stream, once orderly, becomes ragged and uneven. Adair pulls back hard on the stick. 7GS crush him into the seat. His vision narrows to a gray tunnel. He rolls right and climbs through the gap he has torn open, the bomber formation dissolving beneath him. Then the sky fills with fighters. 40 Nakajima Ki-43 Oscars peel down from above like hunting birds. Their long wings flash silver and green in the sun. They fan out, spreading laterally, preparing to trap him in a turning fight. The Ki-43 Oscar is deadly in the hands of an experienced pilot. Light, agile, brutally maneuverable. Its butterfly combat flaps allow it to bleed speed in tight turns without stalling, snapping inside almost any American fighter. Over Burma and northeast India, Oscars have already downed 63 Allied aircraft in 6 months. Adair knows the rule. Never turn with an Oscar. The P-40N is heavier, faster in a straight line, built for diving attacks and brutal hit-and-run passes. In a sustained turning fight, it will die. For Oscars come in first, a loose finger four formation diving from his 10 o'clock high. Adair rolls left, pulls the nose up, and fires a 2-second burst. The tracers miss high. The lead Oscar snaps into a brake turn, its wingman following instantly. Adair does not chase. He reverses, shoving the nose down, trading altitude for speed. The Allison howls as the P-40 accelerates again. 2 more Oscars dive in from above, guns flashing at 400 yards. White 7.7mm tracers streak past his canopy. He yanks into a climbing left turn, fires again. No hits. His ammo counter ticks down. 800 rounds remaining. Behind the fighter screen, the bombers are regrouping. 3 separate groups of 6 Ki-21s begin pulling back into formation, their pilots disciplined, trained, determined. If they succeed, they will press on. They are less than 20 miles from Dinjan now. Adair has perhaps 90 seconds. He rolls level, shoves the throttle fully forward again, and dives straight through the descending Oscars. 8 fighters try to follow, but the P-40 pulls away, accelerating past 400 miles per hour in the dive. The Oscars fall behind, unable to match the speed. At bomber altitude, Adair levels out and lines up on the right-hand group. Range, 300 yards. He fires. Tracers slam into the lead bomber's right engine. The Mitsubishi HA-101 radial detonates in a fireball, throwing fragments outward. The bomber yaws violently, rolling right, trailing flame and debris. Its wingman breaks away in panic. Adair skids left, kicks rudder, and fires again into the side of another Ki-21. The rounds punch through the thin fuselage skin. There is no armor, no self-sealing tanks. The aircraft shudders, begins to lag. The Ki-21 was designed in 1936. By 1943, it is obsolete, but each one carries over 2,000 pounds of bombs, enough to destroy Dinjan in a single pass. 12 Oscars are closing again. Adair glances down. Fuel, 162 gallons. Ammunition, 650 rounds. The bombers are 19 miles from the airfield. Then a warning light flickers. The coolant temperature needle is climbing. 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Normal is 210. At 250, the Allison will begin to fail. Adair has been running at full combat power for 11 minutes. He does not pull back. 2 Oscars come at him head-on. Closing speed is over 600 miles per hour. Their guns flash at 500 yards. Tracers streak straight for his nose. Adair fires first. At 350 yards, his heavier .50 caliber rounds strike the left Oscar's engine cowling. The fighter shudders, breaks away, trailing white vapor. Coolant. Its wingman follows. Adair rolls right and dives again. The coolant temperature hits 240. The bombers are still coming, holding the line alone. The sky is no longer empty. It is layered with motion. Bombers below, fighters above, contrails and tracers smoke cutting brief, white scars through the air. Adair levels out again at bomber altitude, the P-40 vibrating as if it knows what is being asked of it. 15 miles to Dinjan. 2 formations of 6 key 21s have reassembled into clean bombing Vs. The third group is scattered, 3 bombers struggling to rejoin, lagging behind. If the lead formations reach release point intact, the airfield will die. Adair goes after the leaders. 6 Oscars attempt to intercept him, diving hard. He ignores them, pushing the P-40 into a shallow dive. Airspeed climbs to 390 miles per hour. The Oscars cannot close the distance. Their tracers fall behind, harmless. At bomber altitude, Adair levels out and fires immediately. His first burst strikes the lead Sally's right wing root. The effect is catastrophic. The internal structure fails. The outer wing panel folds upward, then rips free entirely. The bomber rolls inverted and drops into a flat spin. No parachutes appear. The formation disintegrates again. Bombers scatter in 3 different directions, jettisoning discipline in favor of survival. Bombardiers abandon their sights. Pilots shove throttles forward, diving, climbing, breaking away. Adair pulls up sharply. The coolant temperature gauge is now near the red line. 248 degrees. The engine note changes, subtle but unmistakable. Roughness. Vibration through the control stick. Pre-ignition is beginning inside the cylinders. Metal is expanding where it should not. He should reduce power. He does not. 8 Oscars dive on him from above. He sees them late. He rolls left, but the response is sluggish. The P-40 shudders as 7.7 millimeters rounds tear through the right wing. Fabric rips open. Aluminum buckles. 1 round strikes the aileron control rod. The right aileron goes soft, unresponsive. Another burst walks up the fuselage. Sparks flash off the engine cowling. 1 round punches through the coolant reservoir behind the firewall. Green fluid explodes across the windscreen. The temperature needle surges past 260. Steam erupts from the cowling seams. Oil pressure begins to drop. The Allison is dying. Adair chops the throttle. RPM falls from 3,000 to 2,400. The P-40 begins to descend. 1,000 feet per minute. Then 1,500. The Oscars circle above him, patient now. They do not rush in. They know what is happening. Fire blooms inside the engine compartment. Coolant vapor ignites first, flames licking backward along the cowling. If the fire reaches the fuel lines, the aircraft will explode. Standard procedure is immediate shutdown and bailout. Adair looks at his altimeter. 8,000 feet. Descending fast. 12 miles from friendly territory. Below him is jungle, thick and unforgiving, crawling with Japanese patrols. He keeps the engine running. With his left hand, he reaches for the mixture control and pulls it back to idle cutoff. For 3 seconds, the engine starves. The fire diminishes, faltering. He pushes the mixture forward again. The Allison coughs, sputters, then catches. It is running rough, but it is running. Power output is down to perhaps 60%. Not enough to climb. barely enough to hold altitude. Behind him, the bombers are no longer a threat. 13 miles short of Denjan, the raid has collapsed. Individual Ki-21s are turning southeast, limping back toward Burma. None of them drop their bombs. The airfield is safe. Adair turns southwest toward Naguli. 43 miles away. 6 Oscars follow him. At 7,000 feet, the oil pressure needle hits zero. The engine vibrates harder now. Metal is grinding against metal. The propeller windmills unevenly. Airspeed bleeds off. 180 miles per hour. The margin between flight and stall is shrinking. The Oscars close to 400 yards. They do not fire. They are waiting. One Oscar pulls alongside, close enough for Adair to see the pilot's face behind the canopy glass. The Japanese pilot gestures downward with his hand. Land. Surrender. Adair stares straight ahead. At 6,000 feet, smoke fills the cockpit. Not engine smoke. Electrical smoke. Rounds have severed wiring behind the instrument panel. The stench burns his eyes and throat. He slides the canopy open. Wind blasts through the cockpit, clearing some of the smoke, but making it hard to breathe. His airspeed drops to 160. The Oscars drift back. They are done with him. At 4,000 feet, something snaps. The right aileron control cable fails completely. The aileron flops to full deflection. The P-40 rolls violently to the right, nose dropping into a steep dive. Adair hauls back on the stick. Nothing. The elevator cables are damaged. The nose stays down. Airspeed builds. 200, 220, 250. The jungle rises up to meet him. 3,000 feet. 2,500. 2,000. He is going to die. Then a thought cuts through the chaos. The damaged controls are forcing the aircraft down when right side up. But aerodynamics do not care about orientation. Forces reverse when the aircraft is inverted. If he rolls upside down, the broken aileron will push the wing up instead of down. The stuck elevator will drive the tail down, lifting the nose. At 1,800 feet, Adair rolls the P-40 completely inverted, flying the impossible. Negative G slams Philip Adair against his shoulder straps. Blood rushes into his head. The world turns red around the edges of his vision. His stomach lifts as gravity reverses its grip. The jungle that had been racing toward him now appears to hang above the canopy like a green ceiling. The engine coughs. Fuel systems are not designed for sustained inverted flight. The Allison sputters, threatens to quit entirely, then catches again, running rough but producing power. And the nose comes up. The descent slows. The altimeter unwinds more slowly now. At 1,200 feet, the P-40 levels out, flying upside down at 140 miles per hour. It is working. Adair holds the inverted attitude, jaw clenched, fighting the red haze creeping inward from his peripheral vision. His arms tremble. His heart pounds against his chest. He is flying by instinct now, by feel, by stubborn refusal to let go. 40 seconds pass. Airspeed increases to 160. The altimeter hesitates, then begins to climb. 50 feet per minute. A wounded aircraft, climbing upside down on a dying engine. Fuel starvation returns. The engine stumbles again. Adair rolls right side up. Immediately, the damaged controls force the nose down. The P-40 begins to descend. 600 feet per minute. Adair waits until he loses 300 feet, then rolls inverted again. The nose rises. The pattern establishes itself. Right side up to feed fuel. Inverted to climb. Upright to descend. Inverted to claw altitude back. Flip. Climb. Flip. Descend. Above him, the Oscars circle, watching. They cannot understand what they are seeing. An American P-40, streaming smoke, controls shattered, flying alternately upside down and upright like some wounded animal refusing to die. One Oscar dives in for a closer look. Adair sees it coming, rolls inverted to gain altitude, then rolls upright directly toward the fighter. The Oscar breaks away. That is enough. The Japanese fighters turn east and disappear toward Burma. They have no reason to stay. The American is either insane or already dead. Adair continues his rolling climb. Fuel, 83 gallons. Oil pressure, 0. The needle has been pegged there for 9 minutes. By every rule of mechanics, the engine should have seized. Connecting rods should have welded themselves to the crankshaft. The fact that the Allison still turns defies logic. The aircraft shudders constantly. The vibration feels like a living thing, angry and unpredictable. Slowly, painfully, altitude increases. 3,000 feet. 4,000. Ahead, through the haze, Adair sees it. Nagili Airfield. The runway stretches out like a gray ribbon against the jungle. Revetments. Control tower. Safety. Then a new problem asserts itself. The landing gear is hydraulic. Hydraulic pressure depends on engine power. His engine is barely producing anything. If he lowers the gear and the engine quits, he will crash short of the runway. If he attempts a belly landing with fuel still aboard, the aircraft will burn. He needs the gear down and locked while the engine is still running. Carbon monoxide poisoning is setting in. His hands shake violently. His thoughts come in slow, thick waves. He reaches for the gear lever and pulls it down. Nothing happens. The hydraulic pump is not generating enough pressure. Adair swallows and reaches to his left. The manual hand pump. 28 strokes will pressurize the system enough to lower the gear. But the pump requires both hands. Releasing the control stick means losing what little control he has. He reaches behind him, loosens his lap belt, wraps it around the control stick, loops it through the seat frame, and pulls it tight. The stick is held roughly neutral. Not stable, not safe, but it will do. He grabs the pump with both hands and starts pumping. 1, 2, 3, nothing. 5, 10. His arms burn. His lungs ache. At stroke 23, resistance builds. At 28, he feels a heavy thump beneath the cockpit. The left main gear drops and locks. 3 seconds later, the right gear follows. The aircraft becomes draggy instantly. Airspeed falls to 135 miles per hour, barely above stall. Nagili is 7 miles ahead. 3 minutes. His vision tunnels. Gray darkness creeps inward. He shakes his head violently, forcing focus back onto the runway. Then the engine quits. The propeller windmills to a stop. Silence. The P-40 becomes a glider. The inverted approach. The sudden silence is terrifying. Without the engine, the P-40 feels heavier, reluctant, like it wants to fall out of the sky immediately. The propeller freezes in place, blades stopped at an awkward angle. Wind noise replaces the roar that has carried Adair this far. He checks the altimeter. 2,000 feet. The runway is 2 miles away. In theory, it can be done. The P-40's glide ratio is roughly 8 to 1. From 2,000 feet, that should give him 3 miles of glide. But theory does not account for bullet holes torn through wings and fuselage, for landing gear hanging in the wind, for twisted control surfaces and shattered hydraulics. His real glide ratio is far worse. 6 to 1, maybe less. The jungle between him and the runway looks suddenly very close. Adair knows what is coming. A crash short of the field. Fire. The end, after everything. Then memory surfaces through the fog in his head. A fragment from training. A casual remark from an instructor about glide characteristics. About inverted flight. Right side up, an aircraft descends nose first, gravity and drag working together. Inverted, the wing's camber produces different airflow. At certain angles of attack, drag can be reduced. No one expects a pilot to try it. Adair rolls inverted. The world flips again. The runway hangs above him now. Inverted but unmistakable. The airspeed steadies at 125 miles per hour. The descent rate improves. 500 feet per minute. Better than before. On the ground at Nagili, tower operators stare in disbelief. An inverted P-40 is approaching the field, landing gear extended, smoke trailing from the cowling. Technical Sergeant Robert Martinez, a crew chief, raises binoculars. His first thought is not admiration. It is fear. The inverted aircraft looks wrong. Foreign. Dangerous. For a split second, Martinez thinks a Japanese pilot has stolen an American fighter and is about to strafe the field. He runs toward the nearest .50 caliber gun position. 3 other ground crew follow. The gun is swung toward the approaching aircraft. Adair is at 400 feet now, half a mile from the runway threshold. Still inverted. His vision is fading rapidly. Carbon monoxide and negative G-forces are starving his brain. Gray tunnels close in from the edges. He has seconds. He must roll upright, line up, and land. Too soon, and the damaged controls will drive him into the ground short of the runway. Too late, and he will overshoot or lose control entirely. 200 feet. 300 yards from the threshold. Adair rolls right side up. The damaged right aileron immediately drops the wing. The aircraft lurches. He slams left stick, muscles screaming, forcing the wings level. The nose wants to fall. He hauls back, feeling only partial response from the elevator. The P-40 drops toward the runway at a steep angle. Too fast, too heavy. Gear down, flaps still up. Martinez tracks the aircraft through his gun sights. Smoke pours from the cowling. The plane is American. It is destroyed. It is trying to land. He makes a decision. Hold fire. Adair crosses the runway threshold at 90 feet. The descent rate is brutal. He drops the last 90 feet in 4 seconds. The main wheels hit the concrete hard. 7GS slam through the airframe. The gear struts compress fully. The tail wheel smashes down. Metal shrieks. The right main gear collapses. The right wing slams into the runway. The aircraft ground loops violently, spinning 180 degrees, showering sparks and fragments of concrete. The P-40 skids backward for 200 feet and stops in a cloud of smoke and dust. For a moment, nothing moves. Then the canopy opens. Philip Adair sits motionless for 12 seconds. He releases his shoulder straps, stands up, and climbs out onto the wing. His legs buckle. He grabs the wing root and holds on. Ground crew reach him and help him down. Behind them, the Allison engine is a ruin. What one pilot changed. Fire crews swarm the wreckage as Adair is guided away from Lulu Bell. Foam washes over the engine compartment. Smoke continues to seep from the cowling seams, but the flames do not return. Technical Sergeant Martinez pulls the panels off the engine with a pry bar. The damage is worse than anyone expects. The Allison V-1710 is destroyed. Pistons are seized in their cylinders. The crankshaft is warped. 3 connecting rods are welded solid from heat and friction. The oil pan is ruptured, coolant everywhere, wiring burned and fused. The engine has been running without oil pressure for nearly 10 minutes. By every mechanical rule, it should have stopped long before it did. They walk around the aircraft. 16 bullet holes in the fuselage. 7 in the right wing. 4 in the left. 1 round has completely severed the right aileron control cable. Another punctured the hydraulic reservoir. A third cut through 2 electrical bundles behind the instrument panel. Lulu Bell will never fly again. But Dinjan Airfield still stands. Later that afternoon, intelligence officers confirm what ground crews already suspect. All 24 Ki-21 Sally bombers turned back without releasing their ordnance. The Japanese formation broke apart 15 miles short of the target. No bombs fell on Allied installations. No aircraft were destroyed on the ground. No personnel were killed. 14 C-47 transports remain operational. The Hump airlift continues without interruption. 3 days later, on December 16, 1943, 10th Air Force Headquarters debriefs Adair. He describes the attack, the engine fire, the inverted flying, the landing. Flight surgeons draw blood. Carbon monoxide levels remain dangerously elevated 72 hours after the mission. At that level of poisoning, most pilots would have lost consciousness long before reaching the airfield. On January 8, 1944, Lieutenant General Joseph Stilwell presents 2nd Lieutenant Philip Adair with the Silver Star. The citation notes gallantry in action against overwhelming enemy forces, continuing the attack despite severe aircraft damage and personal injury, preventing the destruction of critical supply facilities. Adair returns to combat. He flies 95 more missions with the 80th Fighter Group, the Burma Banshees. He becomes an ace, credited with 5 confirmed kills. On his final mission in July 1944, he shoots down 2 Ki-43 Oscars over northern Burma. He survives the war. The P-40 Warhawk never gains the fame of the Mustang or the Thunderbolt. By 1943, It is considered obsolete, too slow, too limited at altitude. But in the hands of pilots like Philip Adair, it proves something that specifications never measure: courage, adaptation, refusal to quit. December 13th, 1943. One pilot, one battered fighter, 64 enemy aircraft, and a raid that never happened.